Good morning, everyone. I hope my screen is visible to you and I'm audible to you. You can confirm it in the chat window. Quick, great. So before we start with the 2D array, okay, certain program has been given to you and you have to predict the output of the code. You have to predict the output of the code. For each and every question, 2 to 3 minutes will be given, okay, and you have to write the answer in the chat window. So we have a declared an array. Everything is assumed. There is a class. There is a necessary import being imported. Okay, only the code fragment has been given to you. So the first question says that we have an array with 2, 1, 4, 5, 7. There is a limit is equal to 3. Int I is equal to 0. Int sum is equal to 0. There is a while loop. There is I plus plus. There is a sum. The question they are asking is what is the final value of I and what is the final value of sum? So the first question is what is the final value of I? What is the final value of sum? Okay. So 3 minutes have been given to you. Just write down the answer in the chat window. Okay. Next question. Answers won't be told to you. You have to guess the answer or keep it ready in the evening when I'll be uploading it. Next question. Given the two array x1 and x2 with the following values 1 to 4 and 1 to 5 7, we have stored the length of the x1 and x2 in I1 and I2. Okay, there is a loop over there which is running till it is greater than 0, and then there is a if condition, else if condition, and the else condition. The question they are asking is what is the final value of count I1 and I2? What is the final value what is the final value of count I1 I2? Count I1 I2. Third question, we have declared an array with 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. We have declared an array of the Boolean data type, and you know that by default Boolean is false, and we could populate with either true or false. Okay. If you look at this particular code, we have declared an array of integer, we have declared an array of the Boolean. Okay, initially what I am doing, I am setting all the array element to false in this particular Boolean data type. Then what I do over here is, carefully look over here. For I is equal to 0, I less than x of length I plus plus, within that b, that means this particular array, Boolean array, I am saying xi. Okay, what is that xi? You have to figure it out. Equal to true. And then what it is saying is, for I is equal to 0, I less than b dot length. Wherever there is a true, you should make a count of it. Wherever there is a true, you should make a count of it. Okay, what they are asking is the final value of count. This particular loop, if you understand, then you'll get the answer for this. Yeah, I'm noting down the answers of the student. Okay, time's up. Answers will be in the evening, will be uploaded in the evening. Next question. Similar to the one we had done it earlier. Each question maximum 3 minutes you should take. Next question. The question that is asked is, what after executing this particular code snippet, okay, what is the final value of an array X? What is the final contents of an array X? 3 minutes. Okay, 3220. Yeah, 3 minutes are over. Final value of sum for this question. I don't want the final value of I want the final value of sum. Okay. Okay. So it was a small set of assignments prepared just to check how you could solve the MCQ within the stipulated time. Clear? So let's start with multidimensional array. So how do I declare a multidimensional array? If you look over here, what I had done is I declared a data type as int, pair of square bracket, name of an array equal to, and then I have initialized it over here. Okay. So what is happening in this case is it will count the number of rows. So what is the number of rows? It is 4. It will count the number of columns. It is 3. So this array is 4 by 3, indicating that there are 4 rows and 3 columns. There are 4 rows and 3 columns. Okay. Oh, so pay attention over here. So when I say it means you are assigning phi to x. Okay. So when I say int square bracket x is equal to new int 3 by 4, what it means is something like this. Internally representation will be something like this. So we have a 0, 1 and 2. And this one is storing the data for how many columns? 4 columns. With the index being 0, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, this will be, and this will be something like this. 0, 1, 2, 3. Clear? So, if I say x dot length, what it is going to give me? It is going to give me 3. And if I say x0 dot length, it is going to give me 4. When I say x dot length, it is going to count the number of rows. How many rows we have? 3. And when I say x0, that means at this position, how many columns we have? We have 4. That means x of I dot length is going to be 4. Is going to be 4. Is it clear to you? Okay. So point number 1, that's how we declare a 2D array. Int square bracket variable name is equal to new int 3 4. What does this 3 indicates? Number of rows. What does this 4 indicates? Number of columns. So now if I take you back to my Word document, okay, Imagine that you have initialized an array with 1 to 10 and 3, 4, 12. In square bracket ARR is equal to pair of braces 1 to 10, 3, 4, 12. Okay, and here I am using the classical approach of int I is equal to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus. For j is equal to 0, j less than 3, j plus plus. And then I am displaying the contents of ARR ij. Okay, so if I try to run this code in an online compiler, have a look at the output. I will share that. I'm going to share it. Share the contents. Where is my online compiler? Let me open my online compiler. So if I run this particular code, you will get something like this. ARR00 is equal to 1, ARR01 is equal to 2, ARR02 is equal to 10. So what is the value of I? It is 0. So what is the value of j? It is 0. So this ARR square bracket in double quote is going to display ARR square bracket. Then the value of I. What is the value of I? 0. Then the closing bracket. Then the opening bracket. This 2. Okay, then the value of j, which is 0, and then actually display the contents of an array by saying array ij. Is this loop clear to you? That this particular part is displaying ARR square bracket. I actually is displaying the index value 0. This is the closing brace. Okay, this particular closing brace. Then this is the opening brace. Then the value of j. What is the value of j? It is 0. Okay, and then I have to display equal to, so I'm putting a equal to, and then actually I'm displaying the contents ARR ij, which is nothing but 1, which is nothing but 1. Is it clear to you? Just a fancy way of displaying the content, actually displaying the contents. Either, or I should have directly typed array ij, which would have displayed the contents of an array. In this case, what I did, I displayed the string, then the content, then displayed the string, then the content, then the closing bracket equal to, and then the actual contents. Is it clear? But this solution is very crude in the sense I don't like it because you are hard coding the values, and in computer science coding, we should never hard code the values. If you look at my previous explanation, I told you that we can get the size of a row and the size of the column. So what I want you to do is I want you to rewrite this particular step by saying something like ARR dot something and ARR dot something. So I want you to rewrite this code using the length, waiting for 2 minutes to make the changes. I don't want 2 and 3, I want something else, and that is a dot length. So I'm waiting for your responses. Yes, it should not be equal to length. It should be equal to 0. The array I dot length should be on the other side. Yes, Akshit, it's right. Arun, I don't no, Arun. J is equal to ARRI dot length shouldn't be there. J less than ARRI dot length should be there. Is it clear, Arun? So what I was expecting from you was something like this: LENGTH, and over here I do not want 3. So what I should do, I should go for each and every every row, and that I can do it by saying ARRI and take the length of the each and every row and then run the code. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? So what we learned in this example, we learned one thing, that how to initialize a 2D array, how to use ARR.length effectively, how to use ARRI.length effectively, right? But if you remember in the yesterday's class, I had told you that there is a better way of representing the data in an array. And what is that particular loop called? That loop is called for each. Okay, that loop is called for each, and we learned how to apply it on a 1D array. We learned how to apply it on a 1D array. Now same thing I want to do, but I want to do it for a 2D array. I want to do it for a 2D array. Yeah, what I'm going to do is, let me just remove this, paste it, and then let me explain this for you. Attention carefully. If you look at the ARR, okay, what is ARR? It is an array with how many rows? 2 rows and 3 columns. That means, let me take you back to this particular diagram. Uh, we declared an array by saying int square bracket ARR is equal to some set of values such as 10, 20, 30 and 40, 50, 60. Okay, let's assume these are the contents. So what is ARR? It is nothing but an array with how many elements? 2 elements, 0 and 1. Now this 0, what it is storing? It is storing another array with the content 10, 20 and 30, and this one is storing another array with the contents 40, 50 and 60. Clear? Understood? So what I had to do, I had to first come here and then I had to go over here and display the contents. Okay, so my first step is, how do I come in this particular array? So for that, what I do, I will take you back to my online compiler. So target is, we are reading the contents from ARR. Okay, what we are reading? We are reading the first element, but that first element is nothing but an array with the content 10, 20, 30. So my left hand side won't be integer x, but it will be integer square bracket x. Why? Because the 0 is pointing to an array with 1 to 10. Hence my left hand side is array. Okay, that's an outer loop. Now use this x over here on the right hand side, because what is this ARR? ARR is now storing this. After that, ARR will store this. So right now when we are reading the contents of ARR, what is this x? This x is storing this. Okay. So now for this x, what we have to do? We have to read individual elements, which are 1, then 2, then 10. So my right hand side is x and my left hand side is a simple integer variable. Why? Because each element of this array is nothing but an integer. So I say SOPY, which is going to display 1, 2, 10. Done. So inner loop is over. Take the cursor on the next line. Now go to the next array. What is the next array? 3, 4, 12. So my left hand side is int square bracket x. Now this x should be on the right hand side. Now read the individual elements of this. Hence my left hand side will be int y and then display the contents. So this is much more simpler and it doesn't give array out of bound index if you make any error, because it is never going to cross the size of an array and the contents will be 1 to 10 and 3 4 12. Is it clear to you? Yes, no. Okay, I'll repeat it again one more time. We have declared and initialize an array with 2 rows and 3 columns. Okay, with 2 rows and 3 columns. Right? So what is ARR 0, 1 to 10? What is ARR 1, 3, 4, 12? Is this step clear to you? That this is the first row and this is the second row. Right? So if I look at this particular loop, in square bracket x colon ARR, this ARR is storing 1 to 10, which is an array. Hence, my left hand side has to have the square bracket. We cannot drop this. Why? For a very simple reason, this particular ARR is giving me this array. And my left hand side should be having the correct data type, which is nothing but the square bracket. Okay. So what is x having now? X is having 1 to 10. So write this x over here. Why we have to do that? Because I want to read 1 to 10, one element at a time. So I write x over here. I write int y. Now here why I have not written a square bracket? Because this particular array is returning an individual element, which is 1 to 10. Hence my left hand side is int y. Then I display the contents of y, which is 1 to 10. Once this loop is over, take the cursor on the next line and then go back to ARR. In the ARR now what I have? 3, 4, 12. Okay, so my left hand side is an array. Now from the 3, 4, 12 we have to read the individual elements. So my left hand side is int y and I am displaying the contents of 3, 4, 12. Is it clear? Understood? So when we are reading the contents, we are reading the contents of an array, okay? Remember what we are reading. So So when I say in square bracket x is equal to 10, 20, 30, okay, how do I wrote my loop for int x colon, sorry, int, let's take y, x. Why we did this? Because this is an array and what I had to do, I had to represent the individual elements. So my left hand side was int y. But if you look over here in a multi-dimensional array, this particular array is nothing but storing another array, which is 10, 20, 30. It is 10, 20, 30. So what is going to happen is, my for loop is going to be for int square bracket y colon x. Clear? Understood? In case we have a 3D array, okay, ARR is equal to certain set of the values, then how my loop will be for int square bracket I colon ARR, then for int square bracket j colon this I, then for int k colon j, and then work on it. So if you look over here, we started with ARR, we return a 2D array, then we took this I over here and it returned a single dimensional array. Then I took a j over here, returned the individual element, and then I processed the data. Is it clear to you? I'll wait for a moment. In case anyone has any doubts, kindly raise it. In case of 3D, ARR is a 3D array having row, column and the depth. Having row, column and the depth. Hence my left hand side is a pair of square bracket. Clear? Pay attention. It seems your array concepts are very weak. If I do something like this, what is my right hand side? My right hand side is an array. My right hand side is an array. Is it a 1D array? Yes, it's a 1D array. And how I run a loop to display the contents of a 1D array? I simply iterate each and every element. So what I do, I write my left hand side as entire. But if it's a 2D array, something like this, then what will happen is, first we have to process the row and then we have to process the column. So now what we are doing, we are taking individual array into consideration. We are taking the individual array into consideration. So my outer loop is not going to be entire, rather it is going to be something like this. Why? Because when we come over here, it is not individual element, but it is an array. Hence what I had to do, I had to write this. And then once I reach this, then it becomes something like this. So now I have to use this. So what I will do, I will say for int j, but now left hand side won't be x. We have trapped this array over here. So I will say I and do the necessary processing. If it's a 3D array, obviously then what will happen? The first will be giving me the 2D array. The second will be giving me the 1D array. The final loop will be giving me the individual elements. Is it clear? Okay. So, what we are supposed to do next in a 2D array coding? Step 1, we have to declare an array. No, we have to first declare two variable r and w, r and c, row and column. Step 2, accept the data for row and column. So assume that r is 3 and c is 5. That means what we are doing, we are declaring a 2D array with how many rows and how many columns? 3 rows and 5 columns. Next step, make a call to the function called as input array. Okay, so what is this input array going to do? Input array is going to accept the data in this particular 2D array. So let's assume that we have declared an array. After this, row and 3 has square bracket, let's call it as ARR is equal to new int. How many rows? R rows. How many columns? C columns. So step 1 declare, step 2 declare, step 3 declare an array. Step 4, pass this particular ARR to the input array. Step 4, make a call to the function called as display array. What should display array do? Should display the contents of an array. What should input array do? Should accept the data in this particular array. Step 5, you should write a function called as find sum, which is going to return the sum of the elements. Hence it is returning, hence I am saying int. This particular function should return the sum of all the elements. Clear? So for this particular part, that is declaring RNC and declaring an error array, we should take 2 minutes. For writing this function, you should take 2 minutes. For writing the display, it is just a copy of it, 2 minutes. For finding the sum, 1 minute, because you have to just copy the contents and just say sum is equal to sum plus ARR of ij. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 7. You should be in a position to do the code in 7 minutes. Is the question clear to you, everyone? In case you have doubt, kindly raise it. You have to declare RNC. You have to accept the data for RNC. You have to declare an array. That's what we have to do in the main. Then you have to make a call to the three function: input array, display array, find sum. Input array shouldn't return anything. That is, a return type is void. Display array shouldn't return anything. Return type is void. It should display the contents. Find sum should return an integer. That is nothing but the sum of all the elements. No, no, simple. All the elements row. I haven't touched row wise and column wise. I'm asking simple. All sum of all the elements. Row wise, column wise will be taken tomorrow, not today. So step one, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to declare an array equal to new int with R and C. That means R and C should be declared right at the top. Okay, you declare scanner obj equal to new scanner system.in. Okay, right at the top import java.util.scanner. Then what you have to do, you have to accept the value for R and C. So you are going to say R is equal to obj dot next int, C is equal to obj dot next int. Okay, done. Then do not accept the data. So I told you to write some function. So those function name were accept array, pass the contents of an array which is arr. Then I told you to write display array arr, and then I told you to write one more function called as find sum. That find sum is going to return the value. So I'm going to say system dot out dot int line, and in that I'm going to say find sum. And what else? We are going to pass array over there, end of the main. But before we end, we should close that particular object. So we'll say obj dot close, done. Then we have to write the function. What were those function? Static void, function name is accept array. Okay, this accept array will be now having int square bracket arr. So now you write the code, you know how to do that. The display, the code is already there, so I'll simply copy it, name the function as display array. Okay, code is over here which we have seen. State end of the function. Then the third function has to be static int find sum int square bracket arr, and this should return the sum. End of the main, end of the class. Now that I have given you the skeleton, kindly write the code for accept and finding the sum. Okay, so 8 minutes are over, and let me see how many students have solved it. Your function name and the variable name are same, not a good practice. Display end, this is perfect. Let me check the accept. You declared a scanner, you accepted it, and you use a length function. Okay, good. Then you call the accept display and sum. Okay, good, Akshit. Akshit, now try to rewrite it using the for each loop. We still have got 2 minutes time before the class ends. So try to write using for each loop. Let's check Atinder's solution. RC declared input array, display array, sum, static void. Good, good, good. Money Roop solution. Input excellent, good. Oh, you made the function private, but I haven't taught you. Okay, anyway, private static int sum, return sum, function name same, variable name same, bad practice. Two students have written the code. Come on, rest of the students. Kindly work hard. Give 2 hours daily for coding. Yes, you can use for each to accept the input. Yes, you can do that. If you look at the display function, what we are doing, we are accepting the data in Y. Yes or no? Assign it to that particular array element. That's it. Accept the data in this particular Y and then assign it to the particular array element. Clear? In the class, what is going on? You have started with arrays in most of the classes. Okay, that will be the end of the class. Okay, you all can leave. Thank you very much. Tomorrow again we'll continue with arrays.